Hi there, BattleTech and MechWarrior fans. Welcome back to another video. It's currently beginning of April 2026. My dog was want to get involved in this video. I do apologize. I've got three Frenchies and they're all very excited. Um, sorry. So yeah, I'm a bit late to the party. Adepticon happened, and there's some news drops even before that. And I just want to sort of give my thoughts. And it's a video I don't really like doing because I always want to be upbeat and positive about BattleTech, even though me personally, I have some strong feelings about some of the things that CGL do or don't do. Mainly don't do is probably the main reason. Um, Now, CGL, they're a business. They need to make money. I 100% endorse that, which is why I'll buy Catalyst Game Minis, even though I think the way they treat some of the markets and on the world stage is pretty poor. And but I'll talk about that a bit later, maybe, or I'll do a separate video on that. And However, my background into BattleTech was I started playing when I was about probably 18, 19 years old at high school with a bunch of friends. One of them still plays BattleTech. The others, are doing other things and stuff like that. And I grew up through the sort of like the Succession Wars and the early part of the clan invasion, and then I didn't play for about 20 years, didn't keep in touch with what the IP was doing or the storylines or anything like that. I got back into it because I heard of the BattleTech game being done by Harebrained Schemes, and I was really super pumped because I was playing a lot of video games at the time. So for me, BattleTech with a video game, absolutely amazing, and I think that did a massive amount for the revival of BattleTech, which helped the Clan Invasion Kickstarter no end. Absolutely, it was brilliant. And then obviously Games Workshop had a massive snafu, and that sort of brought a lot of people into BattleTech, which is great. And I don't want to give CGL all the credit. That they're the success and revival for BattleTech. I don't believe they are. I think the MechWarrior 5 game has done a massive amount. I think the video game BattleTech by HBS did a huge amount. I mean, phenomenal. I mean, that game just sold like it broke records. When I say records, I mean it broke records for BattleTech game, I guess. But I think people were over the moon about how well it had done. And I think CGL benefited from that. They benefited from that goodwill that those two IPs and products generated. So what am I leading to here? I always think that there needs to be new product in the marketplace for BattleTech to bring new people in and new players in. And when I was playing BattleTech, and when I've caught up with BattleTech, I just don't get the Ill Clan era. Like, I know the storylines behind it. There's one storyline that I kind of like, interests me a little bit, which is probably the creative Davian side. Maybe the Ghost Bears, some of the issues that they've gone through. Totally gutted that the Nova. Sorry, there might be spoilers here, but Nova Cat issue does bum me out a little bit. But Alaric Ward, oh my god, and the Wolf Empire, all that sorry, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of it. Nor do I like the way they go about doing it. They miss some massive plot points about how Terra defended itself in the past, with AI droids and warships and stuff like that. Anyway, it is what it is. This is the dice that we've been dealt as a community and as consumers. And I know that they want to force Ill Clan era, and that's great, but I don't believe that people don't go, oh my god, there's a new set in Incline Era, amazing. And I know some of the community do love it, and I'm happy for them. Absolutely wonderful. That's great news for them. But for me, like the Game of Armor Combat, I probably bought about 8 boxes. The beginners box I probably bought about 8. I probably bought the Essentials box, or 6, 7 copies. Clan Invasion 4 or 5 box sets. This here, I might get 2 beginner boxes, 1 core box. I'm not even sure I want the core box. The minis mean nothing to me. But I might change my mind when I go down below. I'll actually see some of the minis in here because I'm a sucker for plastic crack and minis. So hope I don't get struck out for using that term. But yeah, like how will I? Sorry, and then like I might be. I don't want to turn around like I do everything for BattleTech. I don't like in my local area. Yes, I've kind of brought BattleTech up. Nobody was doing BattleTech in my area. And for about 4 or 5 years, I've been doing demos at a local convention. I run demos at a store when they ask me to. I bring new people in. I've been doing a narrative campaign for about 5 years. I'm going to be starting a new clan league with 10 players, which is freaking amazing. I just can't believe that. It takes a lot of effort. Will I use these boxes, pull new people in? No, I won't. Simply not. It's not my jam. So when I do my demos, I'll be using classic era mechs. And why? One, I've not played a lot of post Fedcom era stuff. Maybe in Alpha Strike a little bit, and I will be playing Scouring Sands, which is I think as the solo campaign element RPG side of things is wonderful. Alpha Strike as a game, not so keen. But again, I really believe that if they wanted to, this is how they should have drawn me into the L Clan era. They should have done the core box as a 2-player core box, and they should have 2 factions in there, and maybe it was Clan Wolf Empire or the Star League Defense Force versus whoever. They could have either done Davian in Korea, or they could have done Ghost Bears versus the SLDF, or I think if you're going to draw new people in, there needs to be a hook. And Incline Era isn't the hook. The hooks are the factions. They make BattleTech. That's the law behind the game. And you put 2 sides together, all of a sudden, I'd be a little bit more interested. I'd be like, yeah, let's go and kick Alaric Ward in because I don't like him. Yeah, you guys play that guy, and I'll go and stuff him up. And yes, there's going to be some lore in the box set, but the artwork doesn't appeal to me. I like, they turn around and go, Regent is the poster boy of that era. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. It's not my jam. Sorry, but I'm aging out, and they're looking for younger blood now. If they want to get younger blood, sorry, let me just move this up a little bit so you can see it better. You've got to do more. The newer, younger generations, they're distracted by so many shiny things out there. You have to work a dozen times harder than anybody else out there. You can't rest on your laurels or anything like that. You've got to do a lot more. And I'm sorry, I'll be buying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the guy who's going to go, I'm going to boycott this or that. But I won't be using this stuff. And I think the new beginner box is supposed to show them advanced rules and stuff like that. No, nobody, when you play a new game, you demo something, so you show them the basics and the simple stuff first. You can't bore them. You can't bog it down in detail. You got to show the passion and excitement of big stompy robots with big weapons firing, doing massive damage and knocking out limbs. That's really straightforward. And I've got so many people into BattleTech by keeping the demo games really nice, fun, and simple, exciting. That's it. Job done. And I hope the new starter box does that. We'll see. By the way, I do like the 2 mechs in the starter box. I think they're really cool. Sorry. And then, so anyway, let's have a look at this. And then, so that's the new starter box. Hammerhead is brilliant. And the Contio, which is I think it's one of the Ghost Bear mechs. People are really excited by this. I'm really pleased that they've done it. Do I like it's gonna be a $30 price point. I think that's me. I've seen the price is about $30, €30, something like that. Bit pricey for my cup of tea. Maybe it'll be down to about 25, 24 with discounts and stuff. We'll see. It is what it is. But 2 good-looking mechs. I think that the Hammerhead should always been a Solaris. But I'll probably use it and bring it forward in my campaign anyway. The artwork is stunning. It's brilliant. You know, they're really nice mechs. The core box, I do like the Mad Cat Mark. Was it 3 or 4? And then there's a Vulture Mark 4 in there as well. I think these two mechs, yeah, 100%. They're pretty cool. Sort of like harken back to the old school. That's the Rakshasa Regent, which is their poster boy. Got the Hollander, Derpy, big cannon blocks on the side to your right hand side. And then you've got the Uziel. And that there is the Eris, another cool looking mech. And then this guy, I don't know which one that one is. We'll see if we can find it in a second. I mean, it looks fine. The rule book, $50. That's going to be, I think, $60, $70, $80, the core box. Now, the rule book, the rules changes. Let's talk about this. On the rules front, I think if you're going to do a refresh in terms of, you know, quality of life changes, the main thing is to keep the game simpler, and have that as a goal. And from what I've heard and I've seen lots of videos, there seems to be lots of conflicting points being raised that argue against that. They're not really trying to keep it simple, and some of the paradigms shift. And I'll give you an example here. So they removed a lot of fighting skill rolls and made physical combat a lot easier, and dumbing down some of the penalties that you get for fighting skill, which makes fighting skill less relevant. And it was already becoming less relevant. And I think that's a really bad thing, because one of the things about it, BattleTech, is like, you know, mechs falling over. It's brilliant. It's a big thing. You know, you want mechs to sort of like fall over so you can do whatever. You want people to fail with the point skill rolls. You want them to stop. And when I used to play it, we didn't have that many point skill rolls. You know, you didn't get a point skill roll for every actuator hit. But they changed the rules. They added those in, but now they want to take them out. So you can only make a maximum of 1 point skill roll per leg, based on an actuator hit or whatever that is. I think that's a shame. Putting the gyro modifier down to +2 instead of +3. It's not a lot, but it's 33% decrease. Again, that makes a huge difference. You know, from punting a 5, you know, I'm looking at a penalty of 8s to 7s. That's massive. You know, I mean, it's massive is relative, I guess. But what I'm trying to say is that there's less point skill rolls, less relevancy for point skill of being important, and I think that's that's bad. And then, if anybody's watching this video, I really would love somebody to answer this. So, 2 places I saw. Right, so let's talk about one of the other rules, and I'll say it and I'll explain why. 2 of the rules. So, I saw also that they're making kicking not as easy, so it's going to be a -1 bonus, and punching, which didn't have a bonus, going to be a -1 bonus. And then someone goes, you should never punch, you should always kick. And I've seen somebody like go, you know, say it on one of on the UK Discord say that, and then somebody on a YouTube video go, no, punching, you never punch, absolutely never, you'd always kick. Why? Like, please let me know what the arguments are that you should always kick. I want to propose some counter arguments, because according to the rules that way I play it is that when you declare a punch attack, you make punch attacks with both your fists, both right arm and left arm. So you make 2 punch attacks, okay? And you will have a chance of using the punch location table, which is the top half of the mech. It says 1 to 6. On a 6 is a head hit. So, but then if you get into somebody's rear arc and you're punching them in the back, you're going to go through rear armor. So why wouldn't you be punching and trying to get their rear armor through and try and get crits into their torso locations? You know, and you've got 2 chances of getting head hits. Like, there's other proficiencies that you can get, or specialisms like melee master or something, or melee expert. I think they double your physical attacks. So you can make your final 4 punch attacks, which is massive. And all of a sudden you've got 66% chance of getting a head hit. That's huge. And also like the way that they are making it less likely for you to take out a mech much quicker. Like, the mech warrior only takes 1 hit from a ammo explosion, and they don't get you don't get any modifiers for your seatbelt check anymore. You should make a straightforward punch skill roll. What? Sorry, I don't get it. Like, you want the game to go end quicker. All these things help the game to go end game and get the game to end quicker, and people fall unconscious and stuff. That's the beauty of it. Like, I'm not sure if I understand why they're doing that. It doesn't make much sense to me. And by the way, I'm only one person. Nobody has to listen to me. This is what I think. It's up to you guys what you think. I just want the game to be in a position where let's get the game to end much quicker, because it takes long enough as it is. And yes, by making it simpler, you're making less calculations and stuff like that, but it still doesn't help the game to end much quicker. So that's one of the things I would be looking at. And yes, I do believe they should try and keep the game simple. So anyway, so let me go back to the kicking thing and the punching thing. Please, in the comments, let me know why that I shouldn't be punching and I should always be kicking. And I'm not saying that I always punch. There's a time and a place to kick. So, for example, if I'm a big mech and there's a medium mech, I'll kick it. I'll kick it because you're going to reduce it. Hopefully take the leg out, get crits on it, and that's it. Job done. So yes, I'll always use it as a balanced option. Okay, there's always a time and a place. But going back to the rules and the punching skill, that's my biggest gripe, is don't take that away from. I hope they don't take that away. They are still saying they're going to look at things or not. The other one I was a bit unsure about, but somebody helped me explain, and I kind of agree, and I'm on the fence on this one, is the ruling of when you're in sub depth, so like a -1 level, and your mech is in there, you're basically in a trench. And what they're saying is that if you're at higher ground, it negates that partial cover. So they want people to be in a trench and to gain partial cover. And that's brilliant. Because I thought, wait a minute, height should always negate that partial cover. Because what is the advantage of being a higher ground? There isn't any, really, apart from that you're sitting duck and a target for everybody. But in this way, you should get it. And use that trench argument, I think, yes, that's a really valid point and a great argument, and I wish they would add some context to things like this. What I would like to see is, though, to say that if you're on much higher ground, it's still irrelevant. So if there's a difference of, like, from the base level, which they're behind cover, there has to be at least 2 or 3 levels more before you get that partial cover, or something along those lines. I think we can piece both. But yes, is that making that rule more complicated than it already was? Yes, it is. 100%. But it's not a big one that I'm too fussed by, to be honest. Are there any rules that I was really too fussed by? Only just dumbing down the punching skill modifiers for people and getting rid of the seatbelt check modifiers. I think the seatbelt check modifiers should always apply to the mech warrior. They're in the cockpit. They've got to try and survive in that cockpit. If you're a bad pilot and you can get knocked around, bounced around, and you're going to fall unconscious, or probably end up dead in the mech. So I think they're the key ones. So sorry, I'm babbling, and it's already going on long. I've had a look at the rules, the playtesting, the notes and stuff like this. There's a lot in here. There's over 100 odd changes. I think somebody had said that were like about 160 changes. That's a lot of changes, and it's a good way for them to make money. Like, was the game suffering at these changes? Probably not. I think they could have just taken maybe a dozen or so of the main rules. I mean, there's just other clarifications and other simple stuff. Most of them people will never ever use or get around to using. That's for sure, because I'm like going, never had to worry about that or use that. The other one that I think people are perplexed by is the ammo dumping, that you can't ammo dump anymore, and stuff like that. Again, the thing with this is that, and I've seen discussions like they can make some optional rules or not, and it's like, just make everything optional then. In that case, let people use them and say, oh, I've already turned around and said, for example, that the ammo stuff, I'm gonna let my group decide because there are a lot of people there who play, mechs which have like 5, 6 tons of ammo, far too much ammo for that mech, and they don't want to be penalized, for playing an 8 round game, which I totally understand. Why would you? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So why can't you, like, work that out? Not sure. I agree about the ammo ruling as such because again, it penalizes light mechs. I wish they'd done something like a Alpha Strike kind of rule where like a light mech's a 1 size, or it's called as 1, a medium is 2, heavy 3, assault is 4, and they turn around and go, that's the number of rounds that explode when you're hit by an ammo hit. So a light mech will only have 1 round go off, a medium will only have 2 rounds go off, a heavy has 3 rounds go off, and assault has 4 rounds go off. That's it. That means that light mechs don't get as penalized. And there you go. That's just a nice way of doing it, I think. Anyway, which is probably what I will probably end up using it and calling it as a house rule. What else is there? The missions, they seem to be quite good fun. We'll probably use those at some point or another. Yeah. So the other thing, and again, this is probably me being, showing my age. One of the other reasons I don't like the Beyond Fedcom era stuff is that there's so many different weapons and everything else that it just makes it quite confusing for new players. There's just too many. And for me, my comfort zone is Clan Invasion. Up until Clan Invasion era, I'm happy with that. I don't need the other weapons and stuff to sort of make it any more confusing than it already is. But you know what? I don't think it's a big issue as such. I mean, I mentioned it, so it must be a big issue. Yeah. And at some point, maybe I will get to the Il Clan era and play some games around that. I doubt it. Definitely Jihad era, yeah, 100%. Maybe I should be saying that word in this video. But anyway, that era with the word of Blake and Comstar was just amazing. So it was quite good. And that is quite interesting in terms of what they do for that. How the word of Blake, the dark side of word of Blake, go against everybody else. So anyway, again, that would be a nice sort of campaign era. A lot of people don't like that though. Everybody's different, so I'm sure there are things that I don't like. That they broke the Republic of the Sphere. Shattered Fortress. I thought that was a great concept and idea, and it would have been great to see them rally up against Stupid Ward and the City Falcons. But yeah, so anyway, I won't ramble on too much. I hope this hasn't been too negative in me whinging and whining. I mean, overall, I am pretty excited that they've got new box sets coming out. The paint jobs are gorgeous. The box art does look good, but they don't sort of grab me. And yeah, I will buy that 100%. I know I will. I've already seen some stores and sites putting them up as pre-orders. So pre-orders are up, which is great news. I hope it does as well as they do. But my biggest thing is, please make 2-player faction boxes. Make faction boxes. It's how some of the bigger manufacturers in the industry get people hooked in, because they get them to have an attachment to a faction. That's so important. Having that connection to the universe. That's really, really important. And those mechs associated to those. And I look at those mechs and I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm sorry. Just wish the mechs were. I mean, like, I will probably never use those mechs apart from Alpha Strike, maybe. Which I guess is not a bad thing, is it? Hey, like, that would be kind of cool, because I'll probably use the Eris, the Vulture, and the Mad Cat. Those 3. Yeah, that'll be quite good. So for Snowblind, and actually this comes out at the same time, approximately within a couple of months of Snowblind. So yeah, maybe I'll look forward to be able to afford those in my snowblind playthrough. Anyway, thanks people. And again, I really appreciate the likes, the comments that you make. Even if you don't like it, let me know. If you don't, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know how you think CGL should be bringing in new players. Let me know if you disagree with me about the kicking and the punching, or why you think kicking is always better than punching. It helps me understand, so I can like discuss that with my players and give them better strategy options as well. So, but anyway, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend and happy hunting. Catch you in the next video. Bye. Sorry, I forgot to mention. There's this YouTuber, GCZ Gaming. Absolutely wonderful, guys. If you get a chance, please sub on this YouTube channel. He's got a great voice. He does amazing playthroughs, and he's down to earth. Talks sense about a lot of the things, and it's great to see a content creator telling how he enjoys things or doesn't enjoy things, and that's always a good thing to have. His playthrough of Scouring Sands has been amazing. It's been hilarious. He's just doing another round of a playthrough of his own campaign using Hinterlands with a mix of Aces system in there. And it's great content. So yeah, please, if you do get a chance, go over there and give him a sub. Thanks. Bye.